Get rid of your mobile phone. Get rid of your phone. Go for a walk. When you see a friend, don't take your phone unless it's an emergency. You can have an hour without being connected to everyone. Nothing is going to happen. It's my number one tip to be present. Hello, beautiful humans. Today's episode is a little Q&A. I put it on the Self-Dom Instagram, and I love doing these type of podcasts because first of all, I feel like I can share a little bit more about my life, but I also see what topics you all want to see. So thank you everyone who put in a question. I thought I would start the podcast by doing a little life update. On the weekend, Tom and I went to Kangaroo Valley and we stayed in this it wasn't a tiny home, but I would say it was tiny home-esque. It was a little bit more bougie, but just being out in nature was, oh my God, it was exactly what I needed. I feel like I live in the middle of Bondi. It's super busy. I always bump into people, and just not seeing one other person for at least 2 kilometers was heaven. I feel so connected to Tom, to Crumble. I feel like I really treasure what's important. I'm less focused on, I don't know, the materialistic things. It just was a really good shift of mindset. And I remember when I did the podcast with Giannis, one of his non-negotiables when it comes to living a healthy life was being out in nature. And I thought it was good enough to like go to the beach here or whatever it is. But if you can, just drive a few hours out to somewhere no one else is. Wow, it just, even the air is so fresh. The stars were so bright. I literally was just staring up like, wow. And cool cups, reading. Yeah, I just feel really recharged and refreshed. So if you have the opportunity or chance to get out, just do it and try to do it once a month. I'm really setting the goal now for the rest of the year to make sure I get in nature at least once a month for either the day or for a couple nights. And we've done it before with the camper van and it was so much fun, and this just reignited my love for it. And it also really reminded me how going slower is what gets you further, because I feel energized. For the first time in ages, I have been feeling pretty exhausted, pretty overwhelmed, quite a few things going on, a lot of travel. So yeah, that's what's up with me. And yeah, I'm a happy bee at the moment. I'm actually heading to Bali. This episode will come out after my Bali trip. So I head there tomorrow for 9 days. So I will be sharing everything I eat and do there, because it is the best place for healthy eats, especially if you're a gluten-free, dairy-free girly like me. I love the gyms there. They've got saunas, ice baths galore, and it's so affordable. Definitely let me know if you want me to do a video of my kind of healthy recommendations for Bali. I think that could be a really cool video, so let me know. And yeah, I'm going to jump into the episode. I have not looked at these questions yet, so let's have a look. How do you work out? So movement for me is something I prioritize every single day, no matter what. So whether it's a walk, whether it's a swim in the ocean, yoga, stretching, or a super hard workout. At the moment, life is a little bit crazy, so I feel like my set routine is out of whack, but I just make sure I move every day. So every morning before work, I walk, no matter what. I walk my coastal walk and I love it. So I know I've always got that. I do aim for 10,000 steps every day. And in terms of training, for me, if I've been at work all day, I don't have the energy to do a HIIT workout or boxing or anything that's cardio and heavy lifting. So I am opting for a lot more Pilates and yoga style workouts at the moment, just because work has been quite busy. But if I have a whole day off, I make sure I get to a weights class with my PT Giannis. It is so important. So in an ideal world, I walk every day, I do Pilates 3 times a week, and I weight train twice a week. But I have to say at the moment, I'm probably doing 3 Pilates classes, 1 or 2 yoga sessions, and then 1 session with Giannis if I find the time. he's a busy man. You guys have all made him super busy since the podcast, which is super exciting. So yeah, it's a bit harder for me to get in, but that's fine. And I definitely want to start making more time for my weight training, even if it's on the weekend, just so I'm fitting it in, because it's so important. And I feel my best when I feel strong and I feel challenged. And I also believe I am more productive in the day when I start my day with a hard workout, because I've done something hard. So I feel more stronger and resilient for the rest of the day. So that's kind of my training at the moment, and it does always change. So I've got another question here. How did you get into modeling? I have been on quite the journey with my modeling. So when I was younger, people would always come up to my mom and be like, your daughter needs to do modeling and stuff like that. So the seed was planted. When I was 13 or 14, my mum put me in an etiquette school called June Daly Watkins. And at June Daly Watkins, you do learn how to eat with a knife and fork. You learn how to walk down the stairs politely, like a whole array of things. But there's also a modeling June Daly Watkins course. So I did the etiquette one, and there's a modeling one. And then at the end of the week, both the courses do a runway show. And there are model scouters there. And the model scouters scouted me there, but my parents never told me. Then when I was 15, I was at Bondi Beach and I was just being a young, silly girl. And this guy came up to me and he was like, have you ever considered modeling? And I was like, yeah, it's definitely something I am interested in. We took each other's Facebooks at the time and then left. The next day he was like, I want you to meet up with my brother. He is an amazing photographer. So this guy, Richard Manor, was art director of Tony and Guy at the time. And then Richard Manor was this amazing photographer. So without telling my parents, I caught the bus and the train, met up with this guy. And in hindsight, this could have gone terribly wrong. But luckily, it was just the butterfly effect and it worked out really well. They wanted to do a shoot with me. And I had to tell my mum, and she was so furious, as you can imagine. But she was like, okay, you obviously really want to do this. You've been scouted in the past. Let's give it a go. But I have to come to the shoot. So she came to the shoot. And still to this day, it's such a great shoot. Like, the photos are amazing. And from there, I signed with a small agency, and I would leave school and do like the morning shows and things like that. Come back to school with my hair and makeup. And then after school, Instagram kind of really started to pop off. And I went traveling on a gap year and I was taking a lot of photos. When I got back, so my Instagram following had grown. I was probably at like 10,000 followers. And when I got back, photographers would reach out and say, do you want to do test shoots? So I started doing that. And then from there, I got booked to go to Bali on a shoot and a whole variety of things. Just doing freelance as well as being with the small agency. And then when I was 20, Chic scouted me off my Instagram. And then I was with them for 8 years. And then I've been with IMG for nearly 2 years. I feel super grateful for that journey. And it's crazy to me how fast time has flown, because I can remember that first shoot like it was yesterday, like truly can. And all the opportunities that have come with modeling, I'm super grateful for. If you're someone who wants to get into modeling, I really recommend utilizing social media. The industry has changed a lot, and it will really help you get into doors if you are constantly posting high quality content that you're proud of course. Doing test shoots, networking, it's all super important. I'm pretty sure that by this time, an episode will be launching Modeling 101 with Shannon. So that will have all the information if you're interested in modeling, interested in social media, and all those things. Let me know if you loved that episode, because I'm super passionate in that area and space as well for mentoring. And I'd love to do more episodes on that. So I'm just, curious. All right, next question. How to find friends who don't like partying. This person was 18 years old. Whether you're 18, whether you're 30, I feel like this topic is really front of mind at the moment. My biggest recommendation for you is to first of all understand your boundaries. And I've spoken about vision boards before, but have a vision board of the person you want to be. Visualize the people you want in your life. That is the first step. So for me, the people I want around me, I want them to be my cheerleader. I want them to support me. I want them to love me. I want them to respect my boundaries. I want them to have healthy habits that inspire me, so on and so forth, whatever your things are. Really understand that. Now look at the people around you. Are those people serving you? Are those people going to help you get to your future self? If they're not, then there are so many ways that you can find your tribe. And your tribe will help you thrive. So, first of all, I've mentioned so many times going to a fitness class. When I've lived overseas in the past, such a great way to meet people was by going to the local Pilates studio. Firstly, most of the time, if you're at a Pilates class, the women and men there are most likely like-minded. They're into their health and fitness. And you could just suggest, maybe if you see someone there a couple weeks in a row, do you want to get a matcha after class next week? Something like that. They have the option to say no, but most people will say yes. Most people are open to meeting new people. And it's just so important that you put yourself out there. And you're obviously, this person asking is 18 years old. And I get it. It is hard. Everyone just got their ID. They're legal to drink. They're going out. But I promise you there's people out there who have the same goals and aspirations as you, and you don't need to conform to what everyone else is doing. So definitely going to exercise classes is an amazing way to meet like-minded people. Joining a run club is also a great thing. My boyfriend runs actually a monthly meditation morning in Bondi, and it is a great way to meet like-minded people, and it's usually a Saturday morning, so those people aren't hungover, which probably means they align with your values. So just be super open, put it out there, and creating a vision board is not only going to allow you to see where you want to be, but the universe will give you what you want when you start actioning it and putting it on paper like that. It is so important. Another way you could meet some like-minded people is getting a casual job. You're 18 years old. Go work at a health food store. Go work at the healthy grocery store. Go be the receptionist at your yoga studio. That's an amazing way to meet like-minded people. And you can just do it a couple days a week. Whether you're studying or not, I'm sure you could fit that in. So there's definitely ways around it. And after school is when you really meet your core people. I don't know a lot of people whose best friends are from school, and I remember being in high school and thinking it's this is it, but it's not. You have your whole life ahead of you, so just be patient, put yourself out there, and it will happen, it will flow. As I always say, the Self-Dom pod and the Self-Dom, the essence of it, I guess, is to help people find their flow state where everything just happens naturally and progresses beautifully. And when things go opposite to what you wanted, you're in a flow state. So the way you react, it's not irritable, it's not frustrated, you're just flowing through life. So I hope that answers your question and gives you some good recommendations. How to fast and eat before training when training at 5 a.m. Do you just have an early dinner? So I would recommend listening to the episode I did with my personal trainer, Giannis. He talks a lot about fasting. He says if you're going to do it a few times here and there and it's super early, that's okay. But if it's going to be regular, just have half a banana in the morning if it's going to be high intensity. For me, as I mentioned, I'm doing a lot more yoga and Pilates, and I will feel fine if I do a 7 a.m. class fasted and then eat afterwards, because it's not high impact. There's a lot of breath work, and I'm someone who loves to eat when I'm hungry. I enjoy my food a lot more. So I understand that question. At 5 a.m. I am not hungry. I do not feel like eggs and turkey bacon and bread and whatever it is. So I think it's so important to listen to your body. Everyone's super bio individual. Some people wake up starving, some people don't. Just respect that. But if you are going to be doing something super hard at the gym, just try have half a banana, maybe a bit of almond butter, and it will be so much better for your cortisol and your hormones, and your body will really thank you. And when your body thanks you, it reacts in good ways with less tummy pains and less stress and less water retention and all these things. So give it a go, see how you feel, and I'm actually sure your body will adjust and you will start feeling hunger earlier when you introduce food earlier. You just need to get your body into the rhythm that you are in. So I'm going to preface that the next question might be triggering. It's about binge eating. So if you are triggered by this, just fast forward a couple minutes. So the next question is, what do you do about binge eating? So I feel super lucky to be in a place now where the way I see food isn't as evil, or isn't as, I see it as nourishment and I see it as joy. And I get excited for my food. I don't restrict anything. So I have my dark chocolate at night. I will allow myself to have my chocolate protein oats or protein yogurt or granolas and those sort of things, even though they're not bad foods, of course, they're healthy, but they satisfy my sweet cravings. But when I was younger and I started my health journey, I would just eat vegetables and protein. There was no room for fruit, no room for any sort of dessert, and no room for carbs. Like, carbs were the devil. And because I was restricting, when I would go to my parents for dinner, say, and mum's cooked baked potatoes, I would binge. I would eat so much till I felt sick, and I would always, I feel sick, I feel sick. Then I would get guilty about it. It was just such a shocking cycle. So if you're going to ask me, what do you do about binging? My biggest tip to you is to stop restricting yourself. Give yourself rewards throughout the day so that when you are at the work meeting and there's some donuts there, you don't inhale them all, because you've already had like your protein ball, which had cacao and goji berries, and satisfied that sweet craving. Or if you're someone who loves a burger, make sure you have a healthy burger every week, or indulge in that naughty burger, but have it once a week. But do not restrict yourself. I think it is the biggest debilitator, and you won't achieve your goals by restricting. You achieve your goals by being balanced. It is the key. As I always talk about, the 80-20 rule is just such a good rule for everything. It's a good rule for what you eat. It's a good rule for how you sleep. It's a good rule for your mindfulness. It's okay to not do it 20% of the time. As long as that 80% you were disciplined and, nourishing yourself with the good stuff. I wanted to kind of take it back to when I was younger. I remember coming home from school, like I was really young dealing with this stuff, and I would inhale 4 pieces of bread, a bowl of cereal, like before dinner. And I would feel sick. I would feel guilty. I already was having all my body dysmorphia issues. And I just remember thinking, like, I need to get this out of me. And I never took it that far. But it was the restricting. I would go to school, not eat all day, get home, binge. It was a shocking cycle. Restriction is the biggest culprit when it comes to falling off the bandwagon. And I think a big thing as well is the diet culture. And I want you to remember, when your favorite influencers are posting their what I eat in a day and things like that, that's one day of however many days. And it's great to get inspiration from that, but you also need to remember that that's one day. Nobody's perfect. Don't try follow these strict diets. You have to do what works well for you. And I always recommend seeing a health professional, seeing a nutritionist, seeing a naturopath, and getting advice. They can really, really help you get on the right track. And again, if you are struggling with any eating disorders or disordered eating, it's really important that you seek medical help because you want to get it early. You don't want to let it get too far. I am here for you, and the Self-Dom community is here for you. My biggest inspiration is for people to live their healthiest and happiest life. And I know firsthand how hard life can be when you're restricting, because all you're thinking about is food. Do I not eat? Do I eat? When's my next meal? You're missing out on life. It brings up a lot for me, those sort of questions, but I think that there's not enough talk about it on the internet, and it's so common. And yeah, I just think restriction is the devil. It really is. How many hours of sleep do you get? So I am a nonna. I need to be asleep by 9 p.m. because if I'm asleep by 9 p.m. and I'm waking up at 5, that's 8 hours of sleep. And I need my 8 hours of sleep. Again, 80-20 rule. So if I've got early call times or if I'm having a really fun night out, whatever, I'll live off 6 hours of sleep. But I need to get my 8 hours of sleep 80% of the time. It's really important to me. And yeah, I think Whoop straps are unreal if you are wanting to see how much sleep you personally need, because again, it's so bio-individual. So the Whoop strap will tell you how much recovery you need, what sort of workouts you need. It's incredible. It will tell you if you have energy to do more. So if you can afford it or can trial a Whoop strap, I would give that a go so you know how much sleep you personally need. But I do think between 7 to 8.5 hours is a good aim for your sleep. And going to bed earlier, I just think is a great win, because unless you're a night owl and you're super productive, I feel like at night it's so much easier to just like eat food, watch TV and just waste time. But if you wake up earlier, I feel like you're more determined to get up, meditate, walk, gratitude, journaling, mindfulness. I just feel like you have that energy. And it's also because you've got more cortisol in the morning, so you do have that bit of energy you need to get out of you. At night, you're tired. You've just had a massive day. So definitely try go to bed earlier. I did just do a podcast on how to become a morning person. So if you didn't listen to that, I really recommend giving that a listen, because it might encourage you to become a morning person. All right, I'm going to do one more question. How to be present. Get rid of your mobile phone. Wow, I am passionate about this. So as I said at the start of this podcast, Tom and I went away and we didn't use our phone. We went for walks without our phone. Even just having your phone in your pocket is going to distract you. Having your phone on the table when you go out for dinner is going to distract you. Get rid of your phone, go for a walk. When you see a friend, don't take your phone unless it's an emergency. You can have an hour without being connected to everyone. Nothing is going to happen. It's my number one tip to be present. When you're with your family and people who matter to you, just leave it. At home, in a box, whatever you need. We recently actually went on a date to a restaurant called Bistecca, and they take your phone away and lock it up, and it was the best date we've had. I loved it. So no phone. Another way to be present is doing your daily gratitude. It allows you to reflect. I feel like I talk about gratitude every single episode, but I'm so passionate about it because it completely changed me from like a pessimistic stress head to someone who's positive, glass half full. I can promise you anyone can become that optimistic type if you just put the work in. Another way to be present is to be in nature and to use your senses. It's a great way to be present. Focus on your eyes. What do you see? Focus on your ears. What do you hear? Do you hear the ocean? Do you hear birds chirping? Focus on your taste. When you're eating food, be present. Taste each mouthful. Touch. When you get a massage or someone holds your hand, all beautiful ways to be present. That's the episode. I am so grateful for the Self-Dom community. I actually haven't had a moment to say thank you to everyone who came to the event. We raised over $2,000 for Lifeline, and I will actually be hosting another event on the 6th of April with Eddie from Bread. We'll be doing breath work, Pilates, we'll be doing a Q&A, snacks. It's going to be a really special morning. So I hope I can meet some more of your beautiful faces there. And don't forget to follow this podcast, share it. I love seeing your posts so much, and I hope you're all having the best start to your week. See you on the next episode.